Hello, Bilishkavava here with another MTG video, bringing new MTG videos every 2 days. So if you like what you hear, why not give the channel a subscribe, give it a like, give it a comment, post down what you think. Posting new MTG content every 2 days. And today I want to talk about something that might be a bit weird. It's about the secondary market. So as you can see here, I've got a couple of good cards. I've got Liliana of the Veil, Scalding Tarn, probably the best fetch lands of all of them, and good old Goyf. So I think we can all agree that these three cards are very good cards. They're all very used in Modern. They will continue to be used. They're important cards to the format. People like these cards. I think we can all agree they're iconic. I think we can all agree that these cards are good cards. I would be shocked if anyone thinks that these three cards are bad cards. Now, I'm just taking these cards as an example. You could basically substitute Liliana of the Veil for any card you want, Jace the Mind Sculpt or whatever. You can replace Tomagoyf with another card. Because my question isn't about these three cards. I'm just using these as an example. My question is about the secondary market. And should Wizards of the Coast care about the secondary market at all? Now, this might be a weird question because you might be thinking they shouldn't care because they're in the business of selling packs. They're not in the business of selling cards. If they're later on down the road, some guy's selling a Goyf on eBay, sells it for $70, that's not Wizards' money, that's that guy's money. But my question is that would it be terrible? Now, this is hyperbolic. I'm just asking this question. I know I might get a lot of hate for this comment. I know a lot of people might be saying, you're completely wrong, you don't know what you're talking about. And I admit, I'm new to Magic the Gathering. I haven't been playing the game that long. And I know some people might think this is absolutely terrible, what I'm saying. But what would happen if they printed Goyf to the point where Goyf cost $1? How bad would that be to the MTG community? If these three cards cost each player $5 each, let's say Liliana cost you $5, Scalding Tarn cost you $5, Goyf cost you $5. How terrible would that be? Now, as a player, I would think that this would be fantastic. Players would be able to get Lilianas at $5. That's a fantastic prospect. As, you know, as a player of the game, I would be extremely happy. I don't own Liliana of the Veil. If I could get a playset for $20, that'd be fantastic. Would that be bad for Wizards? That's the question I want to ask people. Now, I can see the other way of thinking. Collectors invest a lot of money in this card game, and they want their cards to be worth something. But is that Wizards' responsibility? Is this an investment game, or is this a player's game? Because if it's a player's game, we want to drive prices of cards as low as possible so everyone can enjoy them. But as an investment or a collectible card game, we want the cards to have some value. And there's the conflicting balance of value versus let's bring the players the cards they need at the most affordable price we can. All these cards have seen reprints. All these cards are still over $50. And we're talking about USD dollars. We're talking about USD dollars. They're all over $50. All of them. Still over $50. Even after Tomagoyf has been reprinted, I'm going to say 4 times. Still, his price has been affected, but it's still well over the $50. I think the cheapest you might be able to get a Tomagoyf, a Goyf, is $70. Still very expensive. Scalding Tarn has been reprinted. Still the most expensive fetch lands. All the fetch lands are still very expensive. Now, I can see a world where you would say, no, we have to have these expensive cards. Because we have to have something for the players to chase. That's where I think Wizards of the Coast might agree in having expensive cards, because you can slip these cards into a deck, into a booster box, Iconic Masters, Modern Masters, Eternal Masters. You can slip these cards into those booster boxes and sell expensive booster boxes. A pack is $10. A booster box is $200 and something, maybe $180. If you're very cheap, like Eternal Masters, and the price completely crashed. Would that Is that why Wizard wants these cards expensive? Do you need expensive cards for the game to thrive? Do you need expensive cards to the game to continue its momentum of growth? If all cards were worth $5, Liliana of the Veil costs $5, would that entice more players to play Modern? Would that entice more people into the game? Because the barrier to entry is so low? Or would that crush the game because people would not be interested in buying expensive cards? That's the real question. I don't know the answer to it. I'll be 100% honest. I do not know the answer to this. But it makes me think, what would happen if all cards cost $5? Would that be bad for the game? Would that be the end of the game? Would that be horrible for the game? Or would that grow the game to a level that we have never seen? Would it entice so many more new players into Modern, into the game, that the price being collapsed would actually be so much better than it being expensive for Wizards of the Coast? But then, of course, you have the players. What would the players think? Would they be happy that the cards would go down? I would suspect people who don't have the cards would be extremely happy. But would the backlash from the people who do have the cards be so immense that the game would collapse in on itself? That's the question I'm posing. I don't have all the answers. I do have all the questions, but that's what I want to ask the MTG community. What do you feel about this? Do you feel that cards have to have value? They have to be expensive cards so you have something to chase? Or do you think this is a player's game and all cards should be as cheap as possible to get as many people into the game as possible? I'm very interested to see what you think about this. I'm very interested to see what the MTG community thinks about this. So please comment, post, give me your answers. Don't forget, I'm posting new MTG content every 2 days. Might be taking a few days off MTG to focus on BlizzCon because I'm a big Hearthstone player as well and a big Blizzard player. So I might be taking a few days off just to do BlizzCon videos. But please do not forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Give it a like, really helps. Bilish Gavava, out.